This video is to help you understand how to interpret each of the reports given to you after you've conducted your ISQ surveys. Now that you've completed your ISQ surveys, you have given back to you with your surveys 4 different reports. A status report telling you exactly the results of your survey, a normative report which compares your school to other schools like yours, a behavior report which gives you an indication of the quality of instruction at the school, and last is a progress report for schools that have done this for more than one time. To help you interpret the results of your ISQ surveys, we created a color grading system called signal analysis. We employ a traffic signal metaphor, red, yellow, and green, to help you interpret the information. Red are areas that need improvement, yellow is typical practice, green is superior, and we created a 4th category, purple, for exemplary practice. It's helpful to start by looking at page 4 of your status report. If you look at this, this is where we keep the numerical summaries of the characteristics of the people who responded to the survey. At the very top, you'll see numbers that indicate how many parents, how many students, how many teachers, and how many other staff members responded to the survey, along with color grades as the quality of that sample. Green would indicate that these parents, in this case, represent the rest of the parent population very, very well. Yellow is a good enough sample, and if any of these were red, it would indicate that you would have to use some caution in interpreting the results. The next section in page 4 describes some characteristics of the various respondents that responded to your ISQ survey. This section right here talks about which grades are represented for each of the audiences, parent, teacher, and student. And keep in mind that parents can have children in more than one grade, so these numbers will not add to 100. Teachers can also work with children in more than one grade, so their column will not add to 100. But students must be in a single grade, so theirs should add to 99 or 100. In the next section down, you have a description of ethnicity, and keep in mind that people are allowed to mark more than one box. So those will also add to a number probably greater than 100%. And finally, you have child gender, and this represents the percentage of students who are male. The next section on page 4 shows the results of some questions that we asked the parents to respond to. And these questions give us an idea of how much social and economic risk is present in the population served by the school. There were 7 different questions that we asked, and they look at economic status, community affiliation, family bonding, neighborhood stability, academic status, home language, and peer associations. And the idea of this section is anytime 80% or lower actually respond positively to that attribute, then there is some risk present in the school neighborhood. If 0, 1, or 2 of these categories is shown in red, that is they're below 80%, then we would say that the school is low risk. If 3 or 4 of the categories actually were below 80, then we would say that the school is of moderate risk. And if there were 5, 6, or all 7 of these in red, that is their percentages below 80, that would indicate high risk. And these numbers are associated with the environment and academic learning. As an example, you can see from our survey here that this is a low risk school and that all of these are white. Here we have a moderate risk school, and you can see now there are 4 different categories whose percentages fall below 80%. And here's a high-risk school where you've got actually 5 of the different categories below 80%. The last part of page 4 looks at the priorities of those people involved in the school, and we use what's called an ideal perceived scale. For the parents, we ask them to rank order these different attributes of school outcomes by what they see as the ideal school. We ask the teachers, on the other hand, to rank them based on what they think they do best. And it's very important to examine discrepancies between what the parents want and what the teachers think they're doing well. The next thing to examine would be the first page, and it gives you an indication of the overall quality of the school. And again, you can see we use signal analysis to display whether or not a school is basically yellow, basically green, or have some areas where they need improvement. We can see from this school that the vast majority of the signals are yellow with a few areas of green. As an example, the moderate risk school that we were looking at, you can see there are still some areas of green, but also there are some areas of concern, safety, and some other places where the school can improve. Here we've got a school that's a high-risk school, and you can see even more areas of red up here. And finally, a school that's actually doing very, very well. You get an idea. These are all high schools. Elementary schools are much greener and have actually purple signals on the front page. The next thing to examine would be page 2. And page 2 again provides information about the perceptions for each of the 7 domains, but now it's broken down by individual items. So here are the 31 different items that are used on the ISQ, clumped into the domain groups, and we can see the different audiences across the top that have responded. You can get an overall look again at how well different groups perceive the school. In addition, you'll notice that there are some areas where there's no bubble at all, and that indicates that we didn't ask that audience that question. For example, we don't ask parents about teacher training, and we don't ask the kids, especially young kids, very many of the questions because we want to keep the surveys short. Some of the things to keep in mind when you're looking at pages 1 and 2, the fact that the first thing that you want to be of great quality is the relationship between the teachers and the principal. And the place to find that is down the teacher column here in the administration area. Those are the areas that you want green and purple first before you attend to anything else on the survey. The next thing is you want to deal with your customer base, which are the students and the parents. And again, you want to see how the teachers feel about those various audiences and how the students feel and the parents feel about the teachers. These relationships give you a great deal of information about how well things are working and your ability to conduct school improvement efforts at the school. And finally, the last place to look is page 3. This is an area where we disaggregate parent and student data so that you can see how different parents and different students perceive the school. There are 4 columns on this page. The first one splits the parent information into those families that use English as their primary language in the home and English as a secondary language, with the English as primary language speakers on the left. The next column breaks the parent data into those who have more recently moved into the area on the left and those who have been around in the neighborhood for longer on the right. The third column is a breakdown of student data into different genders, boy, girl, with boys being on the left, and the last one is student data broken into white and non-white populations. It's important to note that if there's a bubble off here or there, that can be due to any kind of random fluctuation. Really what you're looking for is an overwhelming trend on this page before any action really needs to be taken. After you've conducted your ISQ surveys and have had a chance to look over your reports, we've provided you with the school leadership guides, which give you an idea of a variety of things that you can do at the school to improve your ISQ the next time you have it conducted. And the school leadership guides are organized around the same domains and items as the ISQ. And so in any area that you're looking to improve, you can find that area in the school leadership guides. And listed here are a set of standards that show exemplary practice for a school. And you can use a school community council or faculty groups or even student leaders to go over these and determine how well you're doing on each one of these standards.